The Leadership Award recognizes an employee who serves as a model leader and leads by example. Today's first Leadership Award for 2020 goes to Joseph Trimble. I am honored to present the Leadership Award to Joseph Trimble, Chief of Employee Resources. He joined Parks in 1992, working out of the Arsenal basement in the permit office, where many storied past and future leaders from administration begin their journey at Parks. No one could have predicted the impact he would make on our agency as the Chief of Employee Resources. Under his leadership, Joe's team, comprised of payroll and benefits, labor relations, and employee resources, played a pivotal role in helping keep Parkies paid, informed, and safe these past 14 months. A week after the WHO declared a global pandemic on March 11th, and ahead of city guidance, Parks issued a field staff survey to understand what measures we could put in place to support our staff. When timing mattered the most, Joe's team executed the survey and analyzed the results into the wee hours for days. The results of this survey will move the agency to reorganize operations based on compressed, flexible schedules and changes to reporting locations. That same week, this labor.c19 email was set up, and labor relations moved to a 24/7 operations. This became the central line to responding to staff and supervisors about the ever-shifting COVID policies, CDC and city guidance, positive cases, and leave. If a Parkie reached out via this email, they found Joe on the other end, at the ready, no matter the time or the day. In the early months of COVID, Joe's inbox set the Parks record of most incoming emails, hopefully never to be broken again. Joe has an unconditional love of life and people, which is reflected in his eternal optimism and positive relationships with staff, and it's contagious. During COVID, Joe never lost his humanity as he worked with Parkies through thousands of scenarios and situations. Though each case represented a myriad of difficult issues, he gave attention to every individual with singular compassion, and every situation with grace and reassurance. And for many Parkies, Joe represented the light at the end of the tunnel. All of these accomplishments pale against his most significant accomplishment while Joe has been at Parks. Joe met and married his wife, Ava, at Parks, who's with us today. Hi, Ava. And they live happily in Manhattan with their 2 daughters, Delancey and Marlo, and 2 cats. So please join me honoring Joe Trimble for its outstanding work throughout a year filled with sadness, but we're ending with hope. Congratulations, Joe.
My wife advised me against this part. And Norman, you might want to have your kids cover their ears, but I just fucking love working for the Parks Department. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I really love it. I just love it. Sorry. Very brief story. 30 years ago, the company I was working for shut down unexpectedly, and I was told one morning when I arrived at work I was out of a job. I was walking home in a daze, thinking about how I was going to pay for a rent I couldn't afford, a car payment for a car I definitely did not need, and a credit card bill that was pretty much just bar tabs. So I did what everyone else did in New York City in the 90s. I opened up the New York Times classified section, and I circled every job that I thought it could bluff my way into. So during that search, I found a listing for a job to sell tennis permits in the basement of the Parks Department headquarters. Let's think about that. Selling tennis permits in the basement of the Parks Department headquarters. I will not lie. At the time, I could not think of a worse job. But here I am today, and other than asking my wife out on our first date, another round of applause for Eva, an ex-Parkie. She deserves one round of applause for working at Parks and the other one for staying with me for these years. One of the best decisions I ever made was applying for that seasonal job. I know many of us focus on what our job duties are and our career, but what matters just as much is the people we work with. They're your second family. I've been honored and privileged to work for the brilliant and multi-talented David Stark since my first day at Parks. I think he's here today. Little round of applause for everyone loves David. I couldn't ask for a better boss and friend. I can't say enough about Commissioner Silver, who has truly transformed the agency in the past 7 years, and he will be missed by thousands, including myself, so please, he cannot get enough rounds of applause. When Joy took over for exiting Deputy Commissioner Bob Garafola, I did not know what to expect, but her fresh perspective, eagerness to delve into every topic, and her hands-on approach have been an absolute pleasure to work for, so thank you, Joy, for being there. I'd also like to thank my deputy directors, who always bring something unique to the table and make me look good, Jose, Andre, KC, Bonnie, Teresa, Monique, and all my teams in ERP, labor relations, benefits, and payroll. So one last thing, who I really want to thank are everyone else that made it here today and everyone else at Parks who couldn't. While I wish it was under better circumstances, I've gotten to know literally thousands of you over the past 15 months as we've talked through positive test results for COVID, quarantine, sick family members, and unfortunately lost family and friends. And while many of these conversations have been difficult, I've made some new friends along the way, and I feel closer to all of you. You're truly the lifeblood of Parks. I appreciate all that you do. Thank you, and go Islanders.